this. I got a bulge right there. Look, I go through tires. I go through tires fast in Mexico because the roads kind of suck. It's low profile. It's got these low profile tires, right? A high performance tire for this, not a name brand like a Michelin, just a Mexican brand or an import brand, costs about $60, $70. So I just drive it. And when one goes, I replace it. But that's the thing. You find a tire, there's little tire repair shops everywhere. So you have a bigger one. This is a mid-size. It actually has new tires for sale. And then you find these little talachas, and they just do repairs, and they have used tires. They're kind of like the emergency stopover. And you'll see them, sometimes there's just a tent or a shack on the side of the road that does basic repairs. And then you have the mid-size ones that are actually a tire store, called as multi-llantas. So they'll do repairs and patches, but they also sell new tires. Then you have the bigger stores that, like the Michelin stores and stuff like that, and they just sell tires and wheels and stuff like that. So you kind of 3 levels of tire stores. But basically a new tire mounted and balanced on here costs about $65, $70. And they last just fine as long as you don't puncture them or explode them or hit a pothole or something like that, because the roads aren't always maintained. That's why it has a bump on it. Look at that. Patch or ¿cómo se llama eso?
Parche igual.
¿Sí?
Sí, es
Okay.
top.
Y vas a poner así.
Ajá.
¿Ya bien? Sí. Eso está bien. ¿Mande? Ah, gracias. So the thing to know if you're coming to Mexico in your car, you're gonna hit a pothole, you're gonna blow a tire. Make sure your spare's good, make sure you have your jacks for your spares, all that kind of stuff. If you're pulling an RV, RV suspension and tires suck, especially RV stock tires. They're these Chinese import, total garbage. If you haven't popped those already driving in the US, you are gonna lose them when you start driving on adventurous roads. But I would blow those tires even driving in the US. So make sure your spare's good. Make sure you have your tire change, your jack, check all that stuff. Not that you can't get that here in Mexico, but if you're coming to explore, you don't want to be doing that when you're new and you don't understand the language. There's actually way more little tire shops because you have the talachas and stuff on the side of the road, on the highways. So it's actually easier to get service, but if you're not good with the language and stuff like that, it can be intimidating. So they're used to their tires blowing down here as well. If you're pulling a trailer, also bring, and I want to emphasize this, the tow pays and stuff are hard on these crappy trailers, because let's say you buy an RV, right? And it's rated for like 10,000 pounds. What they actually do on a lot of these RVs is the RV weighs 10,000 pounds, and they put axles that are actually only rated for like, 2 axles at 4,800 pounds each. So you're actually overloaded on those axles out of the factory, and then you put all your crap in, and on a smooth road, you pull it off. But what happens is when you start going out in the wilderness, regardless of where you're at, or you start driving on rough roads and stuff like that, guess what? You start breaking suspension parts and stuff like that. And this stuff's not that expensive of parts. You should have a kit with like an extra leaf spring, an extra of the thing that ties your springs together. Review whatever your rigs are when you travel to Mexico, and just be a little organized and plan ahead, because these aren't difficult things to fix. But especially if you're dealing with like an RV or something, even in the States, I would always carry an extra wheel bearing, extra brake parts, things like that. Because if you're out in the wilderness and this breaks, well, you're kind of screwed, and you want to be prepared for that. Bring some tools, bring some equipment. It's easy to find a repair shop down here that'll do the heavy lifting if you need it. But have some parts and have some stuff, and know your equipment, know what kind of stuff it is. Things like trailers and RVs, they're not complicated. They tend to use pretty junky basic parts that are fairly readily available. And I've bought like trailer suspension and spring parts in Mexico without a problem, but you got to go to a big city. You're not just going to find those in the corner auto parts store. So plan ahead a little. If you're just driving a car, well, you're good. Just check your spare and know that you may have to drop 50, 60, 70, 80 bucks on a tire when you explode one. And if you explode a tire and put your spare, don't wait a month to put a new one, because if you then explode another tire, you have no spare. If you zook a tire, get your spare and then go get a new tire. Wow, this looks safe. Look, woo! What could go wrong there? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. ¿Se quiere mejor? Or no? No tanto, no?
No, pues la bola va a seguir, pero ya trae el...
No vas a explotar. Yeah, I got it. So they put that patch in. That cost me like $7.50 to put that in. It still has the bubble, but they reinforced it. You guys saw what the inside was like, and they put that nice thick patch so it doesn't explode. Because I just put that tire on a couple months ago, and I hit a huge pothole. I mean, big. Like I hit it with the front tire, and the front tire immediately exploded, and I had to put the spare on and then replace that, and then. But I think the back tire hit it, and it didn't explode it, and it's been working, but you could see what happened on the inside. It hit the edge of that pothole, the concrete or something like that. Like, you break things. So if you're not used to that mindset when you're traveling, get in that mindset a little bit, because if you want to see the real Mexico, you want to get off the toll roads and off the main thoroughfares and the tourist traps and go down the real communities. And sometimes that's hard on time. All right, peace, guys. Just a little bit of info on how to deal with traveling in Mexico, because there's a lot of fear-mongering and weirdness. You don't have to always drive on the toll roads. The free roads are normally just fine. Do a little research on where you're going. Have fun. If you're not comfortable, don't drive at night, but I drive at night all the time. Just, it's like anywhere. It's like in the US, there's shady places there too. Just know where you're going and try to do your research. As the sun sets on another day in Mexico, the Güero proceeds down the highway with his recently fixed tire that he'll probably have to fix again very, very soon.